All right. So today we're going to create an account in order to apply to the JC. So the first thing you want to do is go to santarosa.edu because that is going to be the home page for the JC. So after you go to santarosa.edu, you're going to go up to the right-hand side where it says apply now. After we click that, scroll down a little bit and you're going to go to this button here that says CCCApply and go ahead and click that. Okay, so if you have an account, you would go ahead and do sign in, but we're creating this video for those of you who don't have an account. So we're going to click create an account. This page is basically just letting you know that they prefer that you use a personal email address rather than your school one. So, if you can, please create a personal email address in order to create this account. If you have one, we can just go ahead. Okay, so first things first, I'm going to put your name in. If you have a middle name, you would put it here. If you don't, you can just go ahead and check this box underneath. Okay. A suffix is basically if you have an addition at the end of your name. I don't have one, so I'll put none. Then we have, do you have a previous name, such as a maiden name? So, maiden name is the last name you used before you were married. Um, I do not have a maiden name, so I'm going to go ahead and say no. And I might assume that most of you are not married, so you would also say no. Um, this says if you have a preferred name that's different than your legal name, you would go ahead and press yes, and then you could put your preferred first name here. I do not, so I'm going to put no. Okay, then we'll go ahead and do your date of birth. All right, so after you confirm it, the next question is going to be about your social security number. First things first, you do not need a social security number in order to apply to the JC. However, if you are a senior and you're using this to apply for next fall, it is important to put your social security number on your application because that's how they link up your financial aid. If you don't have it with you right now, that's totally fine. You can always go back in later and add it. So, for those of you who have your social security number, you can go ahead and put it in. If you don't, not a big deal. You can click no and then go in and provide it later. All right. So, this is where you would put that email address. As you can see, I'm using my school one, so that's a bad example, but this is a contact number. You can choose whether or not you authorize text messages to the number above. I'll say sure, that's fine. And again, they have a second telephone number. If you have one, that's fine. If you don't need to put one. And we scroll down to the permanent address. Okay, so you can see it. There's a pop-up here. It basically says that you should put your permanent address that you're residing at, or your parents' address, even if you're not residing there. Okay, just gonna put in the address and continue. All right. This is where you're creating a username. So it can be anything you want. I would say because it's school related or college related, it should be somewhat professional. And then you also want to make sure it's something that you're going to remember. So after entering in your username, your password, you're also going to do a PIN. So these are just security ways to make sure that you are who you are when you're signing into your account. But you really want to make sure you remember these things. So I put them in my phone or I write them down on a piece of paper, but you want to write down the username, the password, and the PIN. And lastly, we have security questions. So can just choose whichever question you think you'll remember, and there are going to be three of them. And then you'll just type the answers to them. And as you can see, you can just um, select whichever ones you like. And then make sure you put the answers in there. Then you're going to click that you're not a robot and you're going to create your own account. I have one already, so I'm not going to do it, but this is sort of the last step here. And that's how you create an account. Once you click create an account, it will take you back to that sign in page, and then from there you can start your application.